Hello, can you hear me?
Bro, I lost you there for a minute.
Hold on, let me get closer to the house, because I'm sitting outside, but I'm sitting, like, away from the house. No, away from the Wi-Fi. Hold on. Alright. Can you hear me better? Hello? Hello?
Go off Wi-Fi.
No, I'm not. No, because this phone doesn't have... Hello? Yes!
Hey, there we go.
Give me a second. I'm gonna switch over to, like, hold on. I want to switch over this phone to hotspot. Hold on a second. We might crud, we lose him. Hold on. Somebody. Let's pause this. I can't see anything now. Ben, the guy that we did the event with.
Ben? Yeah, I know who Ben is.
Mr. Frank, how are you, sir?
Okay, I guess. How you doing?
Okay, I guess. I mean, that's I'm better than I'll tell you. I guess very good things about how I'm doing right now. So why are you just guessing?
I don't know, because this podcast is all about cutting the horse shit.
Exactly.
Okay, perfect. That's
so.
good.
You ever actually just cut horse shit? That would probably not be that
Also,
pleasant.
this podcast isn't about analyzing ourselves too much. Just kind of saying whatever's in the head. That's
Got it. Okay, perfect. All right.
Yes.
Right now, what's in my head is absolutely nothing.
War. It's like war.
Well,
what is it good for?
Because we still have to create some content.
Yeah.
For the folks at home.
That's important.
Well, it's this. Ready? It's me and I are sitting outside after a day of Purim. The sun is nice. It's probably like 65 degrees, 63, 65 if I had to guess. The sun is beaming right now. We're getting some vitamin D.
Yeah.
Our bodies are healing from a night of, let's say, good positive ruach, Purim ruach. Of,
kosher debauchery, I like to call it.
Kosher debauchery.
Yes.
I mean, really just...
Which means drinking. That's all it means.
That's all it means. It means drinking things, in my case, with a whiskey that was aged in a sherry cask. Oh, wait, hold on, that's the feds. Hold on a second. I'm being monitored, obviously.
Wait,
Ching Chang Chong, get out the sky. What?
Yeah, get out the sky, Ching. Get out the sky.
I'm gonna blow you out the sky, Ching Chang. Every time there's a click in the WhatsApp call, I think it's a Chinese guy, so I yell Ching Chang Chong, get off the phone, and it stops. It's amazing. It just stops. It's a miracle.
Folks, for the folks at home, Greg is not doing an impression of what was that guy's name? Not Andy Rooney, famous actor, Mickey Rooney. He's not doing an impression of Mickey Rooney in Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Oh, you mean like? You mean
yeah,
like,
we're not doing
that.
I'm
not doing that.
Well, he just did it, but he wasn't doing that before. Now you did it. Now you've done it.
Well, I told you, this is episode 61. It's a prime number. It doesn't mean anything unless you add 6 and 1 together. You get 7. Then you get something that means anything. But 61 doesn't mean anything.
61 means something.
It does mean something too, probably. I just don't know what it means. It's a prime number. So.
Yes, sir.
So what does 61 mean?
Well, normally I have the use of the computer, so I don't have to use my brain.
Oh, the Trugman's
And I don't have the use of that at this moment.
Dude, speaking of somebody who has a computer brain, Rabbi Kanievsky passed away today. Did you hear about this?
I just saw that, yeah.
What does this mean? Like, he was the last gadol. Like,
yeah, what that means is that now
Mashiach is coming.
Nobody can say, well, at least we have Rabbi Kanievsky.
Yeah.
Now you would have, even the people who really have their heads up their own asses, cannot say that we have a leader. Meaning, like, even they would have to admit that we're a complete vacuum for the first time ever.
Okay, so what about this guy? You know this guy, the Yanuka? Do you hear about this guy?
Yanuka is a term that you find in the Zohar, talking about a child. There was a child prodigy who all the Tanaim used to go to get wisdom from.
But so today they have this guy. He's not a child. He's like 33. Told us the Rav Shlomo Yehuda, the Yanuka.
The Yanuka, right? So they borrowed that term because it's referring to young genius.
This guy, yeah, he's all the big, the Hasidic Rebbes are like touting this guy, Shlomo Yehuda or something like this. Here, Yehuda Be'eri, Shlomo Yehuda Be'eri. Everybody, people thought he's not Mashiach, obviously, but there's people like running around saying that he might be Mashiach, which I don't think is the case.
I'm not going to say anybody is or not.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I am going to say somebody is.
Yeah.
I always say somebody is.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah.
Whoever Mashiach is, I feel like, if the Rebbe was sitting right next to me, he'd be like, yeah, okay, whatever, yeah.
Yeah.
Just let him come.
Move it along.
Yeah, let's kind of get this going. All right, guys?
Yeah, because we're tired.
He goes, oh, that guy? Okay, great.
They wrote an article about this guy in Mishpacha magazine. It's interesting.
Listen, there's a very... I just was reminded of this the other day. Rabbi Wolf listened to part of a lecture. And I didn't get to listen to most of it. I only got to listen to this one little moment. And I understand it was for a reason. It reminded me that Chazal say that the Gadol Hador, not the Gadol, the Nasi Hador, it's a specific concept, this idea. The prince, the leader of the generation, is the Mashiach of that generation. Okay? There hasn't been a leader of the generation at all, right? Since the Lubavitcher Rebbe. No one, there's a couple of people, some local, every like little Hasidic group is gonna think their Rebbe is Mashiach, just because of loyalty to the home team, that kind of thing. But as a worldwide leader, a clear, recognized Jewish leader, not just by most of the Jewish people. And remember, most of the Jewish people are not religious. And if you would have asked them, do you know a rabbi who's a big rabbi? Everybody's going to say the Rebbe. No one heard of Rav Aaron Kotler in Lakewood.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, and also world leaders. Yeah. Okay, from around the world who come to visit the Rebbe, and also local, like political leaders, right? Yeah. Who came to seek his counsel. So, if we cut through all the bullshit, and we have to really establish in a completely objective way who's the Nasi Adar, the real Nasi Adar. I mean, to me, I come to the conclusion that it's about Rebbe.
The only thing I will say to you is that how should I put this? Just because the entire world doesn't know the inner machinations of or the importance of what goes on inside of Yiddishkeit, as far as there's things that happen that the only people that acknowledge them as what's called simonim, as signs, are people who are tapped in, or people who know. Which is basically, you're talking about I'll use the word small cabal of people, including which we are a part of, right? And I think that just because that, it's kind of like the same over here. It's a small group of... you know what I'm saying?
Can I be a lefty for a second?
Okay.
Can I be just I'm just joking. Could I be woke for a moment?
Okay,
Can I have a woke moment?
Uh-huh.
You know that word cabal?
Yeah. It comes from Kabbalah.
I know.
It's only a few people that know the whatever it is. But
hang on.
Ideology.
So I feel like whoever like used or created that term, right? And used it the way it's used now, is like it's almost like saying like there's a Jew, a Jews. The word Jews would come to represent. Well, actually, to many it does. Would come to represent a secret society of people trying to destroy the world. Or like look at look at those. It's a very anti-Semitic. I'm telling you.
I know.
It was intended.
It's innuendo. Yeah.
Right, and so and what's weird is we use it.
yeah, I know the cabal. Like Ben always uses that term. Ben, you every conversation that's about this topic, he's part of the cabal.
No, I've used it too. I'm not pointing to anybody else.
Did you tell me James Dolan is part of the cabal?
It's freaking. Why do we do that?
Yeah, he's like the owner of the Knicks of Madison Square Garden. James Dolan. He's also part of the cabal.
Well, anyone who's in like a high influential position to influence mass group people, is a prime target for any evil plot. So, fair assumption that people like James Dolan is in there, considering how bad the Knicks are, and it's the biggest market in the world.
It's almost like he's deliberately destroying them, like deliberately keeping them not.
That's it. They're always bad on purpose. That's the point. It's a very smart. Look at Newark, right?
Yeah.
It's always bad on purpose.
Yeah.
Yes, but we're scared. I'm afraid I'm going to have to reassert my point.
Yeah.
I want to change the word from cabal
Yeah.
to something.
We could say we could say deep state. We can say. Oh no, are you talking about in this context?
No, because deep state gives too much power to Trump.
Yeah.
You have to create your own. I mean, globalists also is too much to use. It's just evildoers.
No. Well, in this case, we're talking.
Evil gang.
Well, in this case, you're saying you want to change the word for what we're using it for right now, or in general, you want.
Yeah, I want to change it to cabal. Like I want to revenge whoever came up with that. I want to find out wherever they're from, and then find something from their culture.
Yeah.
That's a very important signature word which represents their culture, and then use that word.
Chances are it's Germans, and we can say Weltanschauung, or Zeitgeist.
Too many syllables.
Zeitgeist. No, Zeitgeist is more of a vibe. Zeitgeist is not a.
Zeitgeist is a vibe.
Yeah.
Zeitgeist is a complete vibe.
I don't know. I would have to. Yeah.
How about this? I think I remember
the bourgeoisie.
The Bund.
Oh, the Bund. No, the Bund is also Jewish. It was the Bundists.
No, it's not.
Dude, they had the Bund. They had the
that's
Bund.
Pure German. No, that's
it's German, but they had. Dude, you understand? The Zionists, the groups. One of them was called the Bund. I'm telling you.
Wait, no, there was a German. No, the Bund.
Socialist Zionists was one of them was Bund. Here. You should read
Damn it, Greg.
You should read No, you should read the history of the these groups. Here.
You bastard.
What? The Bund.
Screwed it up.
The Allgemeiner Jiddischer Arbeiter Bund in Russland. The General Union of Jewish Workers in Lithuania, Poland, and Russia. The Bund. Jewish Socialist Labor Party.
I'm googling the Bund, and then Professor Google will tell me what most people think.
You have to be very careful, because then the Jews will be like, "Oh, you're talking about the Bund."
Well, apparently the Bund is a Hong Kong period drama television series.
That's very funny. Hey,
why is the Bund so famous?
Here, General Jewish Labor Bund. Jewish Labor Bund was secular socialist from 1896. It was right before the revolution. Basically, all their crap led to Lenin.
Okay, so what? They're how about this? The Thule Society.
The Fool?
Thule, Thule.
We could just call them Tower of Babel, man.
What is it?
The Tower of Babel. Babylonians.
I want it to be German.
You want it to be German? Okay. We can. Here, German secret society. What here? German.
Norm Macdonald's he's like, I don't know if you guys are history buffs, but
Oh, the Tool. Okay, Tool's. That's funny. Yeah, Tool is the occultists. These are the people that inspired Hitler. He was following them.
Yeah, so that's it. That's our new word, the Thule.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The tool. The that's it, man.
The tools of the tool. Tools.
Yeah, that's right. It's
Thulists.
Very foolish. It's a tool of plotters.
What is the word? The word means study group.
Perfect.
Yeah, no, it means literally Tool Gesellschaft, originally Studiengruppe for German Altertum. Study group for Germanic antiquity, but what does the word mean itself? Tool Gesellschaft. I don't know what the word means itself. Tool Orden.
I want to know, how do they pronounce it?
Tool, probably like Tool or some shit.
Like Tool, right?
Yeah.
It's Tool. It's a tool. It's the tool.
It actually says there's no evidence that Hitler ever attended the society. He probably got all his stuff from there.
No, he got it. There's no question. Like his SS guys were a part of it, and they got got all their crap from it. The tool.
The Grand Order of Teutons.
And people, actually, the Teutons is too. We could say that too. It's very Teutonic.
Yeah.
It's tool. Okay, we're gonna use Teutonic or tool.
Yeah.
Actually, in Blazing Saddles, everybody, Ben, you ever see Blazing Saddles?
Blazing, what was it?
Blazing Saddles by Mel Brooks movie.
Maybe. Well, I can't remember.
It's like they have like a black sheriff.
Okay.
He's like, welcome our new. I don't want to say on air.
What's it called again?
Blazing.
Man, if you're gonna be a cast member on this show, you better know Mel Brooks.
Like History of the World.
You got some work to do. Okay?
History of the World. Blazing Saddles. What's the other one? Young Frankenstein, which I have.
Abby Normal.
There's also one called what is it? When he gets framed, Life Stinks. You ever see that one?
Oh, dude, he had a lot of movies, but in Blazing Saddles, there's Madeline Kahn. You know, she played this German,
I'm
like
tired.
kind of like stripper.
I'm
tired.
tired.
I'm tired.
So
Yeah.
tired. Oh.
and then like somebody calls her a Teutonic twat.
Oh my God, dear Lord, dude.
That is a quote from the movie.
Oh.
Okay, a quote from the movie. A movie that was, I think, from the early 70s. Believe it or not.
He made the producers, Blazing Saddles. He made 12 Chairs as a thing. It's a Russian novel.
Yeah.
12 stульев. He made a movie about this?
Yeah, he made a movie about
I
that.
didn't know
Obviously not well known.
Yeah.
But it should be more well known to Russians.
Russians is very well known. My parents quote this book all the time in the movie. Blazing Saddles, Young Frankenstein, silent movie, which I don't know. High Anxiety. Yeah, that movie.
I saw High Anxiety. Yeah.
History of the World.
Dude, Life Stinks.
Spaceballs, Life Stinks is good.
The one thing I remember from
Underrated
Life
movie.
Stinks,
Very underrated.
yeah, I remember when he. So Life Stinks is about a rich developer, right, played by Mel Brooks.
Yeah.
And then he gets, he loses everything.
He gets
becomes
conned.
homeless.
Yeah.
And then he gets to know all these homeless people on the street. And one of the guys is like, look, he's about to die. So I'm paraphrasing.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, how do you know? He goes, look, his 11s are up. You can see his 11s.
11s?
So the 11s are, when you see a skinny guy and you look at the back of his neck and there's like the two,
oh my
you know what I mean? Like those two like muscles. He goes, you could see his 11s. He's about to die.
Oh my God. Yeah, then the Robin Hood Men in Tights. And Dracula Dead and Loving It, which I have to see the whole thing. And producers.
Underrated, but probably his most
Dracula Dead and Loving
lowest
It?
budget looking movie.
Dracula Dead and Loving It? Yeah, it was like almost B. It was like an A- movie.
But but hilarious. It's like just as funny as all the rest of them.
Yeah. Who's in it? I feel like who's in this movie? Oh, well, Leslie Nielsen.
Leslie Nielsen, obviously, the goat.
Yeah.
Greatest.
Amy Yazbek. Oh, that's the.
Amy Yazbek. She was the, and remember that guy? He played in this show that was huge in the 90s. It was called Wings. It was about two brothers.
Yeah.
That have
yes. Yes.
Right? He was
Steve Weber. Steven Weber. This guy.
Steve Weber, right? Jewish guy, by the way.
Is he Jewish? Well, Wings was a big show. I remember that show. Yeah.
And the star of that movie, which no one will ever tell you. I wish I could remember the guy's name.
Peter McNichol.
Renfield.
Peter McNichol.
What
this guy. Peter McNichol.
He's like the kind of squirrely little guy, right?
Yeah.
He played. He was also in Ghostbusters 2. He played like Janos.
Yeah.
Like the museum director. Oh man, I got to make sure I'm saying this guy's name because he needs credit.
So here's the thing, I have to. Ben, would you like to speak? Because I have to use the boys' room. Maybe you could just like.
Yeah, let me speak a little bit.
Here.
Sounds like I have a lot of learning, a lot of movie watching. It's a good thing that I'm buying a TV for us over here.
I'll be back in a second.
What's up, Frank? How we doing, man?
Yeah, man. Hey, Ben, did you ever at least see Ghostbusters 2?
Yes, I'm trying to remember two difference between 2 and 1, but I definitely have seen the movies.
You wound me, Ben. You wound me. I can't believe this. Ugh.
I've watched most of these classics, if not all. When I was growing up, this would be the argument I had that I've always been on autopilot till COVID, where God activated me in COVID. But I watched all these classics, and I just don't remember like the actual names of every one of them. But of course I've seen Ghostbusters. Of course. Come on.
Ghostbusters. Right, so I mean Ghostbusters just, it gets bad rap for being like, way worse than the first one, which it was, but it's still a comedy classic. Like it's still like just a masterpiece. especially when you compare it to what happened after. So,
what happened after?
Everything went to shit. Like me and Greg talk about it. We say like we use we borrow terms, but we say that right around 1993, 94, everything went to crap. Like everything drastically became much, much, much worse, right? And we're saying that the Shaheena left the world around 1993, 1994. So even the Shaheena left the world to such an extent that even like music and movies lost all their flavor, lost everything. You know what I mean?
That kind of makes sense actually, because right around that time, that's when all the Adam Sandler stuff took off. So everything just became dumber.
No, but you know what's funny? It's funny you say that. The first Adam Sandler movie, like the big one, right, was before 1993, right? And it still had some of that, in my opinion. We're talking about Billy Madison.
Dude, those are the best movies.
Was a comedy masterpiece.
I mean, all his early movies were actually masterpieces. Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore, and Waterboy. Those are masterpieces.
Yeah, I agree. So it didn't trail off, like it didn't drop drastically after 94, right? Like I noticed that it started getting darker and darker. You know what I mean? Like in terms of like the kind of the general feeling of the movie. Like even sci-fi, it got more depressing, more dystopian. Music, Nirvana, that whole grunge crap showed up all of a sudden. And I'm not calling it crap, but I listened to it a lot. And it started, and then here's where I really noticed massive, huge, like when I went to Israel in 1999, okay, and I got back to the States a year and a half later, and then we had like American Pie.
Oh my God.
And that was the big movie. And Dude, Where's My Car?
Oh my God.
And then we had who was like the greatest pop group? It was freaking Spice Girls.
Oh my God.
To me, it sounded like I was like, what the? I felt like I came into like some kind of like idiocracy, like alternate reality. I was like, did I come back to my original, to where I'm originally from, or is this a completely, did I step into a parallel universe that it doesn't feel like home anymore? Okay,
Listen,
that's what it felt like. Literally.
It makes total sense now that you're saying that in comparison to like how we got to this point right now today. They had to what do you call them? The Thiel people.
The tool.
The tool.
Yeah.
The tool people. They just intentionally dumb society down, which is very smart to their point of view, but also that's the proof. You're pretty much juxtapositioning the reality of what you experience. You come back and boom, we're a little dumber and darker.
I was very unhappy. Like when I came back, when I saw what was going on, and then I saw that I was upset that it didn't seem like that many other people were feeling it or noticed it.
You talking about it? You talking about when you came back from Israel?
I was looking for somebody. I was like, does anybody else notice this? And not a lot of people did.
I had the same thing when I came back here in 2013.
Greg is back.
Yes.
That means people were hypnotized when people already in the part of the hypnosis early stages. Like even look, we were talking about Adam Sandler, right?
Mm.
And we were talking about Waterboy. His early movies were good. Waterboy, Happy Gilmore, and then
that whole Happy Madison production company.
Yeah. What was the other one we said, Frank? The one you said? It was Back to School. Not Back to School.
No, but whatever. When he goes back to that's
definitely not Back to School. Back to School was
that's Billy Madison. That's when he goes.
Gem. Yeah. We're talking about Dude, Where's My Car?
Oh, yeah. Oh my God.
But I'm saying the turn for Adam Sandler. You ever seen the movie Little Nicky?
Little Nicky is.
Little Nicky is literally describing what's going on right now.
Yeah.
If you think about it.
Gehenna.
It was like it's like a hilarious movie, by the way. It's just like
yes. Little Nicky was it's pretty good. Plus,
I love the way he talked.
I like Patricia Arquette. I had a crush on Patricia Arquette, although she's probably psychotic leftist, unfortunately, but probably, I'm assuming. Maybe not, I don't know.
Yeah. Popeye's chicken is the shiznit.
He gave him an opportunity to use that voice that he always used as in a silly way to actually talk like that all the time.
Wait, hold on. Was the dog, the voice of the dog, was that possible that it was Norm Macdonald? Because I always assumed that.
I'm not sure. I don't remember. I have to see the movie again.
I'd be happy to watch that again. It's so funny. Any Adam Sandler movies, to me, is always funny. The early ones.
When I used to go see them, my father's like, he's an idiot. What is this stupid movie?
My dad
Happy Gilmore, stupid golf. He's an idiot.
Although he has pretty good, like Adam Sandler has pretty good taste in music. Like every now and then he'll throw a little gem in there.
He's very good.
He'll throw in something by the Foo Fighters or something like that.
He made a tribute to someone on Netflix. He was on Netflix. He made a tribute to somebody musically. Who did he? I don't remember what it was, but it was very funny. I don't remember. I'm getting old. This is sad.
Hey, Crazy Nights?
No, you're not getting old. You're just hungover. I have a theory. My theory is that the more times a person actually says that, it activates something in our genes.
Yeah.
I think that we have to realize. Well, listen, Rav Nachman said, he goes, there's no such thing as an old man.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So basically I was just telling, I was talking to Ben about how I noticed that when we came back from Israel, things, that's when I had the realization that things had massively degenerated. Massively.
Yeah.
And no one else around me seemed to kind of be aware of that.
Because when you're in it, you don't realize it.
Yeah, the closest person who kind of sort of seemed to realize it to me a little bit was Greg.
Greg Alpin. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
How do you guys know each other? By the way?
You know what's funny? We know each other. I met Frank 20 years ago. I think it was at a barbecue, one of those Long Island barbecue things or something like that.
He remembers a barbecue. I don't remember any freaking barbecue. I remember a bar in Manhattan.
Bar in Manhattan? I don't remember. I met Frank. So I actually had a friend in college who was friends with a few of the guys who used to go to all these New York nightclubs, house music things, back in, this is year 2000.
Frank, you were a nightclub guy?
We were all house heads.
I was a nightclub guy. You know why? I'll tell you why. Because when I came back from Israel, I was I wanted just to kind of get a sense. I was can I please find some music? Does anybody, I need to hear some music
and
which
Greg
doesn't
is
make me
DJing.
sick.
Boom.
And then
wow.
Greg Alpin.
Well, he didn't know me.
He introduced me to Progressive House.
Yeah, this other guy. Yeah.
Yeah, he's telling me, he goes, Progressive House has some of those elements that you feel like you're missing. I was like, yeah, and then I got into it. So all because of him.
Yeah. So I then was introduced. Actually, I was introduced by Kravitz. Actually, but then it turns out you knew all the same people from that scene as well. Everybody knows everybody basically. But then
and for the folks at home, we none of this. These are just secular kind of Russian cultural people.
Yeah.
I mean, they're Jews, but we come from non-religious people.
Yeah.
So it might be confusing to a lot of people listening.
Yeah, why are you going to Twilo?
They can imagine what happened. You went to shul.
Yeah.
You went to synagogue on Friday night. All of a sudden you went out to. That's not how it goes down. Folks.
There were no synagogue on Friday. I was going to shul on Rosh Hashanah, high holidays at that time, always. But that was about it. That's all I did. But and then 20 years later, reconnected during you and I, we were friends on Facebook. But you would call me. You would see my videos and you would call me on Facebook. And then at some point I realized one time we spoke a couple times we spoke for an hour, and I was like, this is a good conversation. No, it's interesting for people to hear. And one time I just recorded it without him knowing. And that was it. He was like, yeah, we started the podcast. But we didn't really interact for 20 years so much.
Dude, and you know how I know that these conversations are good? This is just my personal opinion.
Yeah.
I can't stand the sound of my own voice, right? All I hear is Daffy Duck with a lisp. That's all I hear, right?
Yeah.
And yet, when I listen occasionally, I re-listen to these conversations, it's definitely more interesting than freaking Rogan.
Yeah, it is true. It's true.
To me.
Rogan is good, if you're like, how should I put this?
If you're like an MMA kind of, pothead Bernie bro kind of dude.
Yeah.
I would say more just like a bro. He caters to bros.
Yeah, and he opens up. He brings on people who opens up new worlds for those people.
I would say it's bro plus. It's bro
plus, yeah.
It's like masculine bro, right? Because of the MMA style. Yeah. Whereas like
you know why I'm saying Bernie bro? You know why I'm saying? Well, not just because he supported Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
Did he really?
Although that would be enough. But because when I was doing the electrical apprenticeship, like these are like kind of like blue collar guys. This is here in Florida, right? Yeah. Florida and in Louisiana, and some of these guys who are like, they work with their hands, they work hard, they go hunting, and yet some of them, some of the younger guys are like, yeah, I'm supporting Bernie. You know what I mean? Like it has all those weird contradictions that like that stupidity. Like that ignorance of like, people who shoot themselves in the foot, basically. Yeah. Like, don't you understand?
Somebody convinced them that there's a guy who stands up for, so to speak, the little guy, but the thing is they don't realize that that guy wants him to keep being the little guy, otherwise he has no one to stand up for. Like, he has no... If there's no...
Why would a guy with 5 vacation homes stand up for the little guy?
Yeah, exactly. And a private jet that he flies to the climate conference.
He has a private jet?
I think he might. Actually, no. He's one of those people. He drives. I think he drives a hybrid. I know Larry David drives a hybrid. The guy who plays him on SNL. Idiot.
Dude, you know what's funny? You ever see like? It's hard to imagine like one of these Hollywood like celebrities like driving like something that isn't like a Bugatti or something.
Yeah,
right?
Schwarzenegger ran over one of those cars with his giant tank. That's freaking.
Remember, you know how they make fun of Schwarzenegger with who's that character on The Simpsons, Bane?
Yeah.
Right. I think no, it was like he's like They did an impression of him. He's like I was voted to lead, not to read. Remember?
What the hell?
He had a Hummer. He had a Hummer that just like drove over the wall.
Yeah.
It drove up the wall and then down.
It's ridiculous.
No, but the thing I was talking about is like Conan. There was a skit, some segment of Conan O'Brien, where he was trying to buy a car for one of his staff, and they ended up getting some old, like Ford Taurus sedan from like 1992, and then they didn't want it, or the person didn't want it, so he's trying to get rid of it. So he had Brad Pitt show up and drive it away.
What the hell?
He's like, I don't want it.
So weird.
It's completely random. Brad Pitt came, he got into that old Ford Taurus, and he drove away. I'm like, holy crap.
Dude, you know what
I realized? Is that guy real? I thought he was...
Dude, you know what I realized? Like, I was reading, we were talking yesterday about the whole idea, Amalek's thing is randomness, that life is random. I feel like these people, even their humor is like Amalekite humor. As funny as sometimes it is. It's like just like everything is random. Everything is like just
wherever there's an opportunity
there's no
to
point.
Infuse some meaning, they never miss an opportunity to miss an opportunity.
There's no message. Like what was that?
That's so funny you guys say that.
What was the purpose of that? I don't know, just fun.
Greg and I are in an active community that is pretty much Amalek influence.
Yeah.
I mean, we're trying to bring some meaning into it, but it's like we're living in the.
It's meta, Meta is kind of like meta humor.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And Norm Macdonald, he despised meta, and so did Patrice O'Neill. He despised it. They both. So that alone, is enough for me to despise it. I don't even need to ask questions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. But meta. Here's a meta joke that is translated from Russian. Mm-hmm. It's not going to work, but it's hilarious in Russian. By the way, this is like one of the few exceptions.
Say it in Russian, and then people will try to translate it.
This is just not.
Fine.
So basically, this guy, he goes into a deli and he asks for a half pound of chopped liver. Pashet in Russian.
Yeah.
Pashet.
Pate.
He goes, dайте pashet.
Liver pate.
And then, right. So the deli worker gives it. And Comes back the next day. He goes, "Give me a pound of that shit."
Yeah.
Of that chopped liver, and the deli worker's like, "Oh, I guess he liked it. All right."
Yeah.
Comes back the next day. He goes, "Do you have any 5-pound containers?" He's like, "5-pound containers? What are you having a dinner party or something like that?" He goes, "No, just if you have a large container." He goes, "All right, yeah. Oh, we have one." Comes back the next day. He goes, "You see that entire like in your kitchen? Like I see there's the bucket where you get that's the main supply of the shit that you put in, the chopped liver that you put into the thing, in the display. So can I get that whole thing?"
Hold on a second, man. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Sorry. Hold on. Hold that punchline.
В Москве с завтрашнего дня будут штрафовать за ношение масок. Wait a minute.
They're gonna give people fines for what? For
mask.
For not wearing a mask.
No, for wearing mask.
Oh, great, fantastic. It's like Florida.
Использование медицинских масок оправдано только в медицинских учреждениях при наличии соответствующего предписания от главного врача.
You need a prescription to wear a mask.
Да, пожалуйста. Применение масок.
Is this true or is this like a joke?
Не знаю, это говорят, что true. Применение масок в метро, в автобусах, на улицах или в других местах будет приравниваться намерению скрыть свою личность от камер наблюдения.
Oh, it's going to be like equivalent to like people wanting to hide their face from authorities. From like criminal whatever.
Граждане, выполняющие.
That's crazy, dude.
Задерживаться до установления личности, штрафы.
It just goes to show that the Democrats are criminals and they're trying to hide their face. That's what we know. Anyway, sorry. You were saying the end of this joke? I apologize. Oh, so funny.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Turn on the Bluetooth.
Yeah, it sounds like you're in a fishbowl. That's what it sounds like.
Sounds like I'm in a. How about that?
It sounds like you're a fish that's being choked inside of a fishbowl. That's what it sounds like. It's bad. There's just a lot of background. What's it called?
Because I'm boiling up. I want to turn on the AC in the car.
Oh,
and my phone's gonna die. That's why I sound like I'm in a fishbowl. I gotta.
It's very bad. It's really, really bad. Can I pause for a second?
I guess I have to suffer for the phone.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Okay, now hold on. How about that? Is that any better?
Yeah, way better.
Okay, perfect. All right.
You don't sound like a fish anymore, drowning in a bowl.
You'd be like choked in a bowl. Like somebody's like grabbing you and like trying to, like I'm imagining Homer Simpson choking Bart. He's like, "Why are you little?"
Yeah.
So what we're about to do, Frank, and this will wake up my brain cells because I want it real hard.
The folks at home are going to get an entry into a new world right now.
Basically, we're going to go smoke a J, a really good marijuana.
Which is now legal in Jersey and New York.
Completely legal to smoke.
Like we could just walk around right now and just,
completely decriminalized
ourselves.
Okay, folks at home, you're also gonna.
Folks at home, I just want to give you a disclaimer. I'm not a pothead at all. Never have been.
Yeah.
Really,
and
seriously.
For folks at home, you're gonna get introduced to how annoyed I get being around people who smoke weed.
It's okay. Right? If anything, it'll probably improve the quality of the subject matter.
It's not gonna improve the quality.
Yes, it will.
It's gonna put two separate groups into two separate realities, and one of them is gonna be very annoying.
No, dude, you're
Frank,
already on a different level. You're already in the Kabbalah thing.
I need this kind of this influence to get to your level, my friend. You are on a different planet level.
That's right. No, I was gonna say you're on a different level, and I can get there without what's it called. But if anything, it helps me to develop my ideas. And,
folks at home, you are getting introduced to people lying to themselves.
We are lying to ourselves, yes. Yeah. We are in complete denial.
Yes. It's not just a river in Egypt, like we say.
All right, so before I lose you, which is going to be shortly.
Oh, because you're going, what's happening? Oh, you're...
No, when you're going
you mean... Oh, come on.
You have plenty of time.
Oh, seriously.
You have plenty of time.
Seriously.
All right, so by the way, your mom interrupting, completely disregarding our conversation as important whatsoever was way better than the joke I was saying.
Okay, so I want to hear the end of the joke.
The folks at home have now been introduced to a Russian mother.
Yes.
That's what they're like.
Yes. Reading things about Moscow or something happening in Moscow.
No, it's not even that. No, it's not the details.
It's just
the fact that
she takes
they
precedence.
have so little regard for anything
because
that we do.
Because they lived in communal.
Everything looks childish.
Because they lived in communal apartments and they have no regard for privacy. You understand? And my parents didn't even live in a communal apartment. They had their own apartment. But their apartment had no privacy anyway.
No. That could be a part of it. For me.
Yeah, what we're doing is very childish and meaningless. Yes.
Yeah, and it wouldn't matter if we were doing surgery or about to, order a nuke, strike on a country that's threatening us. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Whatever we do, it looks like a baby playing with toys.
Whatever we do, they have to check if we ate.
Check if we ate.
Did you eat before you
There's no possible way that we could ever do anything important.
Exactly. No, it's like they tell us to actually do something with our life when we do it, and then my dad's like, он работает, он все время работает. Я захожу, он работает. He's always working. Oh, что? What are you doing? He's like, what is it that you're doing that's so, работает он?
I mean, did you ever try to explain it to him? Like, like look at Joe Rogan. Here's what he started. Here's what he's doing. Here's the house he lives in.
No, but here's the thing, dude. Joe Rogan, before he has the show, he was an actor. He was a famous guy. He had a Fear Factor. He made a name for himself. He did a lot of stuff where he was known.
So he had a couple of legs up, but still
he had a couple. He had a big leg up with us. But that doesn't mean we can't make this big. Of course we can. But
Not only that, not only can we make this big, we have to, and not only that, we have to dispel. We talked about this earlier. Yeah. We gotta get rid of the whole fancy setup.
Yeah, that's true. No, I agree. I agree with you.
Last time I was saying that people that the instant bullshit detector. What I meant to say was it didn't come out right. Yeah. That people have an instant bullshit detector when they see something that's sterile, that's fancy.
You're right. When they see Dr. Z, Dr. Z Dog, they automatically know that he's a cajoling, controlled opposition.
Right, because I think normal people intuitively know that nothing worth saying, nothing good, nothing that isn't a lie. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Only lies, only stuff like that. Only evil is going to be blessed with like a nice looking set and a nice, like a fancy setup, a good look. Nope, because the world is controlled by evil right now.
Yep.
And evil is not going to invest in guys like us.
Yep. Listen, but I will tell you, dude, I will tell you something. There are these guys, I think I showed you their podcast, they're in Sfat. Very good guys. Bal Tshuva guys. No, kind of, again, the neo-Hasidic thing, whatever you call it.
Okay, there you go. To me, that's already...
they're actually legit, guys. They're legit. They are legit. I actually like their podcast very much. I like the way they're doing it and what they're doing. The only thing I will say is that they're not talking about what we're talking about. They're trying to keep it very, very like kind of kosher tzniut. Let's put it that way. Even though they're not like, they're not squares. They're very chilled out guys and they talk about real things. But it's like if Bali Tshuva had a podcast. That's exactly what that is. It's if you thought about what would a podcast look from Bali Tshuva. From typical Bali Tshuva, that's what it would be.
I thought that's what we're doing.
No. I mean typical. We're not typical. I'm talking about typical Bali Tshuva.
I think that we are typical, and I even though I haven't seen the podcast that you're talking about, right?
Yeah. It's called Two Hasids in a Pod or something. They have a very nice setup. They're both on camera. They're both sitting in a. It's not a studio. It's a basement. No, like a. It's in Sfat. It's like one of those rooms. There's like books.
What is their conversation like?
Meaning, their conversation is actually quite interesting. They have guests. They interview.
No. Wait, that's not my question. My question is, what do they sound like? Do they sound like two guys sitting in shul within earshot of their rabbi?
No. It's a real conversation. It's just they don't bring in, the pop culture stuff that we bring in. They don't bring in stuff. Maybe they'll bring stuff from their own lives, but it won't be so super honest. Like it won't be too much information. Let's put it that way.
You heard that, folks?
Yeah.
Super honest.
No. Listen. What I mean by that, they're not going to give away TMI in the sense of like, oh, I went to a club and I did this and I did that and we went with that friend and so and so and did this and they're not gonna get into that because Bali Tshuva, a lot of these, especially American guys, they don't want to even talk about that stuff. It embarrasses them. It's embarrassing. That's what I mean. So. It's not like they're dishonest. They're very honest. There's a lot of stuff they don't include. Again, it's like those guys you'll meet in yeshiva. You ask them to talk about their past, they're not going to do it.
Right, it's full of shit.
It's not full of shit. It's just
full of shit.
It's just lacking. It's lacking. That's all it is. It doesn't make them bad people. It's just lacking. You know, that's exactly what.
No, I'm not saying they're bad people.
Yeah.
A lot of people, they're doing what they were told.
Yeah.
You know,
exactly.
they're doing it suppress,
Yeah.
to ignore,
Yeah.
to not use the things from their past. It's all
Exactly.
bad. It's all, you got to move on.
Exactly. Exactly.
Your whole test in life was not to embrace those things, but to separate from them, and that's considered, your big.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Listen, you can't. How should I put this? You can't ask people to be who they're not, as Rabbi Schloss likes to say. Don't be who you're not, be who you are. So, at the very least, we are being who we are, and we're not being who we're not, and that's good.
I don't know. This term keeps flashing in my head. This idea, and I don't know if I've heard this somewhere or if it just popped into my head. Truth fanatics.
Yeah.
That's what I want to be. I'm not saying I'm there yet.
Yeah. Sure.
And truth, and what I mean by truth is I by no means think that I can tell anybody the absolute truth of anything.
Yeah.
I just want to be. I want to be truth. I want people to know that they're hearing what I actually think. That's all.
Yeah.
That I'm not hiding anything. That I'm not, trying to be diplomatic or.
Yeah.
I just want people to know, and especially my wife, who I've been struggling with this. I go out of my way. Be like, you never have to worry that I'm saying one thing and thinking the other.
Exactly.
I want that gone from the world entirely.
Yeah. For this, I hear. Listen, in the case of these guys, I can't say they're saying one thing and thinking another. It's just there's a lot of omission, and that's it. And again, you're not gonna get. Again, from them what you're gonna get from us. That's the bottom line. But they are probably the only guys I know. My point was they're the only guys I know who are not from the Sitracher world who have a very nice setup. Podcast setup. Actually, there's another group of guys in Florida. These two yeshivish kids, who interview all these rabbis. I forget their podcast. Also, they have a nice. It's not even that nice. It's just literally a room with a mic, with mics. That's it. That's really the only thing. They're not even that nice. They just have mics. That's literally the extent.
That's fine. I mean, that seems okay.
Yeah, we just have to get mics.
If you have two yeshiva guys, right, grew up, in freaking Mea Sharim or Williamsburg, right?
Who have mics, that's fine.
They never saw Ghostbusters, and they never saw 9.5 Weeks, and they never saw a Billy Idol video.
Yeah.
And they're being true to who they are.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
I think I could deal with that.
Yeah, they are. They for sure are. These two kids from Florida, they grew up from whatever. And then the other guys, the Tzfat guys, they're Baal Tshuva. One of them is actually, I think, a convert or Suffolk convert. Yeah, they're in Tzfat. Listen, they're in Tzfat. They're not gonna be sitting around talking about Mel Brooks. They're in Tzfat.
Do you know how much Mel Brooks I spoke about when I was in Tzfat? Dude, when I was if you go to Ascent in Tzfat, right?
Sure.
So in Israel is where you speak, that's where I spoke to the most real people in terms of guys who they didn't grow up exposed to Torah or anything like that, and then they come to it one way or another. Yeah. And then those are the I'm not going to say the only truly religious guys I ever met.
Yeah.
But that's where those are the conversations that I had in which I knew whether or not I was talking to a bullshit artist or not.
Of course.
I knew for sure.
Can I tell you something? I think some of these guys, I'll tell you one kind of caveat. Some of these guys are what we call Gen Z, and they're at the cusp of the end of Gen Z. They're 30, 31 years old. And I think that their generation, it's not that they are not full of shit. I think a lot of these people are just, somebody convinced them that it's a certain, in order to have good midot, right, you cannot be...
You got to be a fake.
No, you don't have to be fake. You cannot be talking about in Russian we say grubые вещи, You can't be raw. You can't be... it's unbecoming of people with good midot, right? So it's almost like they are, I guess it's fine. They're working to refine their midot, and part of that is they got it, and somebody put it into their heads that they cannot bring. It's like they confuse it. They think that talking about what, like you and I talk about, that they think they're going to bring in the world of Sitra Achra into their life, which is not true. It's all about how you use it, obviously. We know that, right? It's not about the content, it's how you use it, right? It's not about us talking about Mel Brooks. It's about what's the context. Are we using it to elevate, or are we using it to, like talk about nothing, like Kevil. And I think, this generation in general, whether it doesn't matter religious, not religious, what I notice is people, that's why people are so upset, that generation is so upset with Trump, because they're looking at, they can only see optics, and to them, even my sister was telling me, she's like, that's not how a president should act, right? But I'm just like, you are right, but it doesn't matter at this point, because we just need somebody
Is she right, though?
No, I'm saying, even if she's, let's say, she may not even be right, but even if she were to be right, it doesn't matter at this point, because we need a president to do, and I don't really care how he sounds at the moment, because we need somebody just to do. I don't care what he says. I need him to do. And he did, and he does, and that's it. And all that matters is his actions, not his words. Okay? Actions speak louder than words.
Because people were saying stuff like that, right? Like what your sister saying, and millions of others, not just your sister, right? That proved that the tool, right? The tool society, they succeeded in brainwashing an entire generation into thinking that a president should be, a spokesman or some kind of religious, moralistic leader.
I was telling my sister, I'm like, you're not, the president of America is not supposed to be Jesus, or some like refined, holy man. That's not what he's supposed to be. He's supposed to be from the people. And if the people today, unfortunately, are, even the people who want to do good are flawed, and that's the way they talk, and they sound, they sound like a real estate, a New York real estate guy on some construction site. And that's the way it is. Grow up. But at least he's honest. At least you know exactly what you're getting with him. Okay? So, that's it. But I think that generation, they are so... First of all, they're sheltered. Second of all, they think that good midot is all about being nice and sounding nice, and, and actually this kind of stuff...
Instead of being nice.
Instead of being nice, yeah. Well, this kind of... Some of them actually are nice, but some of this stuff seeped into the Baal Tshuva world, or into the religious world, into, if you go to like places like Bat Ayin and Tzfat, so there's a lot of that going on, right? Blending in with just, working on your midot, and they have become almost, it's almost as if they are fake, right? And you feel like when I'm around them, I feel like I'm like a bull in a china shop. I'm about to break these brittle, these brittle, fragile children. You know what I mean? Like a guy.
Can I tell you, just, this is like complimenting what you're saying. Yeah. I'm not trying to, when I say
you're adding to what I'm saying.
Add to. Yeah. Add to.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So when I was like 14, I started kind of like being interested in observing Torah commandments.
Yeah.
Okay. So I began going to Orthodox Jewish families to their for Shabbat, right? For Shabbat dinner. It's a very common thing to do. Yeah. And I would get like these people, they would be like, "You're such a nice boy," and "Oh, you're so well behaved." And I noticed that I started like, it felt like almost like I couldn't really be who I was, because there was like this pressure on me to be what they saw of me. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
it's a projection. Which is probably
mistaken. I'm
no,
like, listen,
a lot of people do that.
No, because for some reason these people got the impression I'm such a nice edel means refined boy. Who I never think about sin. But just, you know why? Because I was at that point, I was so interested, I was so fascinated, because I just, with Torah and its divinity and all that kind of stuff. So to them, anybody who's that interested in Torah must be a special person who has some kind, who's like a tzaddik, meaning a saint.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
And I was completely not.
Yeah.
Did never was. And
did you ever see? There's a little tiny skit from Dave Chappelle. He goes, "You ever go to a party and meet people who are fake, and it makes you fake?" It's like, hey, how you doing? He's like, hey, how you doing? Hey, how are you?
I was like, did I just say that?
Yeah, he's like, did I just say? He's like social anxiety.
He
He's
said
like,
he liked to mess with his lawyer.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
His lawyer, his white lawyer, would call him.
Mm-hmm.
And be like, okay, Dave, I gotta go. And he's like, okay. He goes, zip it up and zip it out. And he's like, and his lawyer's like, okay, zippity do that, bye. Zippity.
I'm telling you, it makes me, dude. I go to these events, these networking events, or what, even just events, and again, it's, I don't know if it's like a thing of people who are, yeah, like people who are like just otherwise like to, like in my case, I did stand up also. People who are otherwise usually are just, joking around with their friends, but when they have to be in a situation where, like, they have to be, I don't know how to put this, whatever, upstanding citizens, you can say.
Yeah, you got to be fake.
Yeah, you got to
put on your mask.
and it makes me. It not only makes me fake. It doesn't make me fake. It makes me uncomfortable. And if anything, I'm like, it doesn't make me fake. It just makes me socially inappropriate. Like I start doing just horribly inappropriate things, which I normally wouldn't even do around my friends. No, when I have to be in like these like networking events and these kind of things. When
some
I don't
of
know
these
people.
guys are so amazing at it.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like seeing like a lizard.
Yeah.
That can change.
Yeah,
That can
chameleon.
camouflage itself. A chameleon.
It's a chameleon.
Are you calling me a lizard?
No, Ben.
No.
So Ben is one of these people.
No,
he's
no,
not
no.
a
Let
lizard.
me say, it's almost like a superpower.
Yeah.
It looks to me
Yeah.
for people who could do that. They're like, I was like, holy crap, dude!
Yeah.
Did you just change your entire being in front of my eyes?
So do you know what the key to how to transcend all of that? So Ben is actually very good at that. It's called not giving a damn.
Don't give a
The
fuck.
subtle art of not giving an F.
I'm
the
telling
book.
you, I don't give a fuck about. Well, at this point, after everything I've seen,
Yeah.
and how dumb and weak people are,
Yeah.
it's like I also have, I would say, good social skills. So
Yeah.
I'm not uncomfortable in those settings anymore.
Yeah.
But I did have to go through years of my early
Yeah.
20s. You're networking,
Yeah.
trying to find a job in Manhattan,
Sure.
and you just throw yourself in those positions. You're like, you say something wrong, and you see how
Yeah.
people react around
Yeah.
you, like the energy.
Or
put
you say
up.
something honest. Let's put it that way.
You say something that's not in the fake culture that they're building.
Yeah.
But here now, when you start giving less fucks about anything and anyone, because you're just a good person and doing the right thing.
Yeah.
It's
That's the ultimate connection to Hashem, I think, because knowing that Hashem wants you to be who you are, and it's important what Hashem thinks, not what they think. That's really,
That's the important thing, the connection to God, right?
Mm. And that's how you destroy, I think, social anxiety. I think that's the key. What do you think, Frank?
That's all well and good, but let's talk about me again.
All right, that's fine, because right now we just started our the thing that you don't like.
Our session.
It's okay. The thing that you think is gonna.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
We know you're joking, but we're coming to your level, dude. We're on our way.
No, that was a bit that I tried to do, and it bombed horribly because none of you potheads understood what the hell I was talking about. See, folks, that's what I'm talking about.
The truth
No,
is,
because
at
the
the time
joke was
frame-
I
supposed to
understood
be.
the joke, yeah.
I started out talking about myself when I was 14, and you guys went off kind of on a tangent,
All right,
somewhat connected.
Okay, so you
and
were
then
14,
I wanted to
and people
bring
thought,
it back to talk about me again.
Okay, so you,
as
yes,
the
I know, I
narcissist
get it.
that I am.
I understood it. Yes. So.
Frank, it's about you. We got it.
No,
it's about you. I got it.
Finally,
it's all about
someone
you.
gets it. Finally.
It's all about you, Raymond. Remember something about Raymond? It's all about you, Raymond.
Me.
It's recording.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All me, man.
No, so you were Adel, and people thought you were Adel, and this.
What?
No, you were saying how they thought
yeah,
you were.
yeah.
They thought you were like.
Oh yeah, no, right.
Just
So,
turn
are you actually going to do this? Okay, but no. So people thought I was like I was nicer or I was better than I am because in the religious, in the Orthodox Jewish world, people who grow up around Torah, they don't understand that it's special because they don't know what to compare it to.
Yeah.
They've never read. They don't understand that there's no other books in existence that are infinitely coated with layers and layers of infinite information about every detail of everything that ever existed.
Yeah.
They think that's normal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so they're not terribly impressed. They kind of they grew up around it. For me, I was like, what the hell? This is fucking nice. And I thought everybody was like fully aware of it and into it just as much as I was.
No.
So they see from their perspective, they're like, holy crap, look at this saint, this angel.
Yeah.
And that's not true at all.
Yeah.
Right? Total misfire.
It's just a dude
Everything
who's
was
interested in interesting stuff. It doesn't make him
But look how enthusiastic he is. He must be, you know,
It doesn't
that
make
kind of thing. And then and to them, now they're trying to like pressure you into be like their rabbi.
Yeah.
In a sense.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, what the hell? I can't be like that. You know, that guy. You know, like, what are you talking about? Like, do you know how much dirt is in my head? I can't go anywhere near you.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
keep your daughters away. What are you, crazy?
And they know to do that, by the way. So at least they know to do that.
What do you mean? They know to do that to you because you look like Deuce Bigelow's gigolo.
That's not the reason. But okay, thank you very much. And when I see you, I'm gonna shove a crossbow in the same place. Assuming I can find a crossbow.
Greg looks like that guy. Like, can you imagine like Fabio?
I can't believe it's not butter. Okay.
Greg does look like.
I just can't believe it.
That guy, except kind of Jewy looking. You know, like the Jewy version of that.
The Jewy Russian version of it. The Jewy Russian.
He's the Jewy Fabio, folks.
It has killed kings and changed the history of Europe. If anything happens to my apartment, I will shove it up your.
Right,
Something.
he's the guy from the Mummy.
Dude, that guy married a German woman. He is excommunicated from the Jewish people. That's it.
Блять, сволочь, придурок.
This Israeli
Пидорас.
Oded Fair. Oded Fair.
The Tool got him.
That's right.
They got him.
Actually, no, the Tool didn't get him.
Society got that guy.
No, the Tool didn't get him. Can I tell you something? I have a friend in Los Angeles. I think I told you about him. Yemenite guy. He is getting sick and tired of the Jewish dating scene. And at this point, first of all, he has a preference in general for, fair-skinned and blonde women. So he's looking for the one who looks like that in the Jewish community.
Arabic much?
Yeah, exactly. Right? Exactly. No, exactly. So the problem is that he always jokes. He goes, all of them got killed in the Holocaust. You know, so there's not many. Yeah, there's not that many left. You know. And the ones that are left are in the Hasidic communities because they're all, they all have that recessive gene going on. You know, all the Vishnich, Schmiznitz, all those guys. So he's not in those circles. So what is he left with?
You know, I've seen fair kind of fair skin, light hair, even Yemenite Jewish girls.
Not Yemenite. It'd probably be Iraqi. You're not going to get blonde Yemenites.
No. I'm not talking about Iraqi. I know the difference. I'm saying specifically from the Yemenite community.
Okay.
Those genes were always part of within Israel. Obviously,
they are.
not as much. You're not going to find that in the Yemenite community. It's rare, but it still happens.
They're not. But in any event, he doesn't like Yemenites. He doesn't like, because culturally also, he doesn't like his own. He doesn't like any of the darkies. This guy is mentally ill because when you go to Israel, really, you don't say.
Seriously, some of those beautiful women that
I know.
You know what Israeli women you'll see are Yemenite.
Of course,
they're
you don't understand.
Crazy.
He grew up with them, and to him, these women are just like nothing more than chair throwers. You know, they get upset and they start throwing chairs. Ben knows about that. Like
they're spicy.
Angry Sephardi women.
That's their Latin spice coming out. Just kidding. Continue.
Yeah, so he doesn't like. He's not a fan. He likes the European. You know, I told him like you should go to Jerusalem. You'll find plenty of the Ashkenazi. I mean, granted, some of them are secular or traditional Ashkenazi blonde girls. Or Tel Aviv, but he didn't go. He just fled Petach Tikva and he came to America, which according to him is the greatest country in the world. He doesn't know why it's the greatest country in the world. You know, he
doesn't understand what he's looking for. He's seen American movies.
I know.
And he wants a Jewish girl, right? Who is religious, but somehow also has the sexual appetite of like a frat girl.
Yeah, I know. That's exactly what he.
This idiot doesn't understand that doesn't exist.
I know it doesn't exist. I told him you are. What did I tell him the other day? You are looking for. I told him something that was very, very appropriate for an analogy.
We hope it's wrong.
The Great White Buffalo. The Great White Buffalo.
No, I told him like you're looking.
Remember Hot Tub Time Machine?
Yeah.
They're like Great White Buffalo.
See, Ben.
Guys, I know all these movies. I know all the 90s movies for sure, I'll tell you that. All of them.
Ben, I'm proud of you. I am. I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
I'm honored.
So because
not only is that not junk, it is what will bring Mashiach. This is my theory.
What, Hot Tub Time Machine?
These movies, these references. You know why?
Of course.
You know why? Because it says because in the Torah, in the deeper teachings of the Torah, it teaches that God can't just be in the synagogue, right? In the shul. right? He can't just be while you're studying Torah or while you're observing a commandment. He has to be literally in every aspect of life. And there's a term which is even in the dust.
Yeah.
Even the dust itself will testify to God's existence. It will scream God, that kind of thing. So this dust, right, this metaphorical dust, it also means literally physical dust in the distant future. Somehow even physical reality will be obviously, like, you look at physical reality and see God, right? Yeah. What I'm talking about at this point is that the dust is this kind of stuff that we grew up with, these movies, these jokes, these ideas, this kind of stuff.
Yep.
God's even in that. He made it possible.
Can I tell? So I'll tell you really quickly.
God made the sorority girl possible. Just think about that. Take a moment.
Ben is remembering the good old days.
Take a moment and think about that. God designed that girl. Everything you like about her. Everything. He designed that. That's not even an act. Do you understand? People want to separate that from God. Yeah, folks, nothing can exist without God allowing it. Yeah. And literally, not just allowing it, but God, in order for something to exist, God has to will it. He has to maintain its existence at every moment. Mm-hmm. Right? So let's say, you got Cindy at the beta alpha sorority. So God is like Cindy. That's how. Sorority. Do you understand? Do you understand that? Yeah. That's true for literally every grain, every little speck of dust.
So how's this for your God cannot? So this guy, what is he blabbing about the other day? That he may start dating non-Jewish girls, or at the very least try for a convert. Because
this guy,
he can't take it anymore. About this. We did talk about this.
This guy is this guy is like, this is what he wants to do. He's just looking for the final excuse that he's gonna, because he's still culturally kind of like, his cultural guilt just kind of barely holding him on.
I know.
Who are we talking about right now?
This is a friend of mine. He grew up.
We shouldn't say his name.
Don't say his name.
No, I'm not gonna say it for sure not say his name. No, he grew up Torah in the Torah school. Like, it's not B'nai Kiva. It's more like kind of Hardal in Israel, and it was all kinds of screwed up because it was girls and guys separately. But then his father was secular. His father, secular Yemenite. At some point, it was the funniest thing. He tells me, when I was 15, I came home. My father's like, "How come you don't have a girlfriend?" And he looked at his father like he was going to punch his father in the face. Like, dude, you put me in a separate boys and girls school. Separated boys and girls. And you ask me he's like, are you gay? You don't have a girlfriend? He's like, what? So this guy grew up all kinds of, he didn't speak to girls until he was like until he came to America basically by himself. His parents passed away.
In his late 40s.
No, late 20s.
Don't say late 40s.
No, he's like mid-30s. No, but until like late 20s, he wasn't even, he became a musician here. And he's actually, non-Jewish girls are really attracted to him. They're like, who he is? He's like a kind of, those like an Adrian Brody type kind of guy with like a very adult voice, So like the new Gen Z girls love that kind of
Dude, he's going to be pissed off if you hear this, but when he doesn't
when I heard his voice,
podcast. He said, I thought, I was like, who's this chick complaining? I was like,
he always jokes that everybody, they call customer service, he calls customer service, they go, ma'am, can I put you on with somebody, a Spanish representative? They think he's like an Argentinian.
He's like the Ralph Macchio of voices.
Yes. No, but the Gen Z chicks love him. They love him. He comes home, he's like, I remember we used to live together. He'd come home from his, he had these classes for the immigrants, to accent reduction courses or something. So he would every day he'd come home, he's like, you don't understand, this hot Brazilian chick, she's like this close to me. I thought she was gonna start making out with me, and this, and then the next day, you don't understand, this hot Turkish chick. You don't understand. He like went through the whole UN of like this hot whatever, fill in the blank, hot Gen Z, whatever, half naked, whatever. They're like, they don't even dress tznius in a classroom. It's like the summertime. He's like, I'm walking in the city to the train, and everybody's naked. This is how can you be a Jew in this city? I don't understand. So he used to learn with like Haredi guys in Israel, with Bnei Brak guys. So he's like stuck between like the Bnei Brak mentality and like wanting to be part of like American secular world, and he just doesn't. It's just like total confusion, complete confusion.
I want to just to take a tiny step back
Yeah.
And then we'll kind of step right back into it.
Okay.
All right. Just the power that the feminine has over the male mind is almost complete.
Of course.
Almost entirely. And that has something to do with what we like normally refer to as the Shaheena.
Yeah.
The Shaheena is this word that the Torah uses to describe the presence of God, the way God chooses to express his presence in our world. Meaning, like, that's the face that he shows us in this world. It is a feminine presence. That's what he has chosen as. So we haven't seen that. Like, people don't normally experience that, or when they do, they may not realize it's Shaheena.
Yeah.
But that's so. It kind of he's enamored. Your friend is enamored, as I am, and probably you two are, with this energy, this presence. It's just like, you know, but we're seeing the negative side of it.
Yeah.
It's hard to say that about something, but this feminine principle, this energy, whatever you want to call it, I don't know what the word is, okay? Expression is so powerful, and God takes that insane power and just hands it to the Sitra Achra first.
What's the reason for that? Just because he wants Puruvu? He wants procreation?
No, there's a lot more to it, and that lesson by Rabbi Wolf that I was referring to earlier, that I hadn't seen yet, he was about to get into that. So I'm going to hopefully get a chance to listen to that lecture, and then I will attempt to relate whatever I retain from that.
Thank you.
All right, let's step back. We'll go back in. All right, we'll go back.
No, so Bekitzer, this guy, he's at his wit's end, and at some point, actually, you know, this is going to sound crazy. Another friend of ours, we told him together, listen, man, don't, and this is something, it's written in Kohelet, don't be such a tzaddik to the point where you get yourself to hell. You know, into like a living hell. This guy's trying to keep Shomer Negiah. He's trying to save himself for, I mean, not that he's done anything with.
I mean, that sounds very painful.
It sounds very, very painful.
It sounds like a painful, if you're, I mean, unless it's really what you believe in. If you really
can I talk about me again for 30 seconds?
Frank, your feminine power that you're giving the feminine is too much, buddy.
I want to talk about me. Me. No, I'll tell you, I just want to say, like, you know, because what you're talking about, going with your friend, I have a very, I have that happen with me in my life a while ago, right? So when I was saying, like, when I was 14, 15, I became religious, and then I was hypnotized into thinking that I'm a saint, kind of, by these religious people just because of my enthusiasm about the Torah, okay?
Yeah.
And I realized I certainly don't have the inner thoughts and the deeds of a saint. And then I realized, holy shit, I'm a big fake. And, you know, it made me think what's, you know, it was very conflicting and confusing. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and then I started hanging out with, shortly thereafter, or around the same time, I hung out with my friends, the Alexes, as we put them, right? The Alexes and the Gregs and the Mikes.
It sounds
that's
like
literally all their names.
It sounds like a sitcom, the Alexes.
Yeah. Okay. Like I have like 900 friends named Alex. And my father's name's Alex. Anyway, so basically, I started hanging out with them, and obviously, I want to influence them. I want to make them all religious, right? I really do. You know, that's, and I just wanted to show them. I was like, look at the Torah. This is not normal. I just want to get them to look at it, and then make their own decisions. That's basically what I wanted to do, but with very little success. So anyway, I would hang out with them, and none of them are religious. None of them are, they don't know anything. So they live completely secular life, and I see them. They have no issues with finding food. They'll eat pizza. They can go anywhere and eat. Okay, they can literally. They can, they like a girl. They can, if she's willing, go out with her and do whatever they, everything that. So I basically grew up with that in my face, not participating in it, but being horrifically antagonized by it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And then I had a break somewhere around 21.
Mm-hmm.
I went with these guys to for New Year's. They like to go to, let's go here for New Year's.
Lemaire.
So
Lemaire. You went to Lemaire?
No, but let's go. Let's go to the Poconos and we'll rent a house and get together, get drunk and party. So I went there. Okay, and there's a girl that I liked, and which is rare, by the way. Like from that crew, like it was rare to run into a girl that I actually liked, especially because of like when you come back from Israel and you see everybody's into the Spice Girls. It's hard to Yeah, they're basically, I don't want to say that, but yeah, you know what I mean.
You can use that word
I don't want to say
on the
they're
show.
retards, but they're retards.
Dude, I once went out with this girl, frum girl. She's like, don't use that word. I work with special needs kids. I'm like, retard. I just like.
I was also a rehab counselor.
She likes Hillary,
okay?
so that.
And
so
those girls.
This girl likes Hillary.
And the kids in the rehab counselor are not.
Special needs, yeah.
Retard was made for them, not for those kids. Anyway, so there's a girl that I liked, and nobody. Usually, when that happens, with my friends, they notice, oh, he likes that girl. I'm not going to scumbag him. I'm not going to get in the way. I'm not going to C-block him, right? My friends, to them, I had become a mascot. I didn't even realize I wasn't even a real human being. They called me Rabbi, right? Yeah. Where nobody even and it's not their fault. It's my own. This is the persona that I put forth, right? But so when I actually like this girl, and they're not used to seeing that, right? And I was actually trying to talk to her, right? And I just kept getting blocked, as if it was like I wasn't trying to make anything happen. I was clearly, it's almost like it didn't register. They couldn't even imagine that was happening to me, that I'm an actual human being. So after that, let's put it that way. You know what I mean? Like I had a lapse in my observance, in my shomer nagia. Shomer nagia, folks, the word shomer means guard, and nagia means touch, contact. So shomer nagia, this term means that you guard that people shouldn't touch each other until they get married. Okay, so someone who says I'm shomer nagia, that means that I'm not going to.
Or as our friend Gennady used to say, are you Chava Nagila with this girl? That's what he once asked me.
Blat Gennady. Anyway, we'll get to Gennady another time. That kid frustrates me.
Anyway, this is a person who actually married a shiksa. So, there you go.
He's like, sometimes I get the feeling Gennady. He said he's a massive goofball, right?
But he's a very successful goofball.
I think he thinks he's so much smarter than everybody else, literally, that his only way to interact with people is by being a complete goofball, because they can't understand. They won't understand his depth.
He's actually pretty serious about his. His craft, what he does for,
his stuff.
The guy who works in the airline industry.
Right, that whole thing to him, it's prime. But anything else outside of his interests, right, cannot be really worth value. He kind of lampoons it constantly.
Yeah, he does.
And I feel like kick him in the nuts, seriously.
Yeah. Yeah.
I actually love that kid. I wish him well. You know what I mean?
Same.
Anyway, so but I guess the point was that when people stop looking at you like you're one of them, and they start, they give you some kind of special status, which doesn't really reflect who you really are. Yeah. There's gonna be a rupture of some kind.
Yeah.
And it's not gonna be pretty.
Yeah.
That's why it's so important to be a truth fanatic.
Yeah.
You never get yourself into that situation. Yeah. All right, let's talk about you now.
I was going to ask you, do you think that it's a very common thing that happened to me as well, that happens in Bali Tshuva, where we try to embody something, not necessarily that we're not, but we're trying to embody something that is an ideal that is presented by things we hear in the Torah, of whether it's we're trying to emulate someone that's alive or dead, or just working in the process of working on our midot, we think that this is how, it's like fake it till you make it. So we try to do that a little bit. And
that's why the Tanya is so important. What you're describing.
I was just going to say, a lot of that kind of stuff happens in the Litvak world when you don't have the Tanya to keep you or anything.
No, it happens in the Lubavitch world too.
As well.
But when they don't really take the teachings of the Tanya to heart, namely the difference between a tzaddik and everybody else.
And a Benoni. So yeah, so a like a person who's like in the middle. So yeah, when you what I noticed when you don't have Hasidut, you're really. I saw the difference in when I would learn with guys, or I go to places where they're learning Hasidus, and to see how people are actually real, as opposed to even like in Esha Torah, they're learning this and that and the other, but the guys are actually happy. But are they, are they really happy? They look happy, but you know what I mean. Like, but you see that they're it's also a little bit of a shtick. It's a happier shtick, but it's still a shtick nonetheless. At least it's not like Navardic, where it's like everybody's miserable. Navardic yeshiva style.
Yeah.
Which was my yeshiva. It wasn't that style. It was just that's the way it turned out to be.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know how. It was just very it was like I felt like it was like the monastery of misery. It's like it literally is like the miserable monks of I don't know, whatever. So I was just like, what is this? And I remember I used to go to Aish for some of these holidays. I'm like, why is everybody here so freaking happy? And why is everybody in my yeshiva so freaking miserable? And it's almost
where was your don't say the name of your yeshiva, but where was it located?
Was in Jerusalem, but it was in a different neighborhood. It was like if you're in Tachana Merkazit and you get on the train away from town, 2 stops away from town, you know which yeshiva I'm talking. So listen, academically,
Esha Torah is a couple of steps away from the Western Wall.
Esha Torah is in New York City. Yeah.
There's all these kind of happy things going on. You have all these like people and events happening and girls everywhere.
Yep. No, it's a celeb yeshiva, or like
which one is this?
Esha Torah in Old City.
Folks, when I say girls everywhere, I don't mean in the yeshiva. I mean just because of where it's located.
It's like little seminary
just like it's a very active area.
They're walking around.
Everybody's like hey, giggling and stuff. Hey, let's make a shidduch. Oh, look at that boy. Nobody can touch anybody, but they're all fantasizing about each other.
For the folks who don't know, a shidduch is that's not a Yiddish word, right?
It's Hebrew. It's Hebrew. Shidduch.
It's a Hebrew word which means to a match.
Or as I like to call it,
marriage.
Or as I like to call it, shit.
That one, dude.
Greg is
there's a website Saw You at Sinai.
There's the best experience.
There's a name. There's a website Saw You at Sinai. There's 2 names I came up for it. One is Saw You at Sai, like SIGH. The end is nigh, and the other one is Saw You at cyanide, like the cyanide pills. So
very clever, Greg.
Yes.
Very clever.
You know what?
But
you know
what? But missing the humor. It's not there.
People pay $18. I don't know how much they pay now. $35 a month for these highly intelligent people to set them up. I'm going to use that term, and the percentage rate, the success rate of the people of that website is about 0.5. Any other profession, the people would be fired or burned down or go into bankruptcy.
You know how this idea that modern or religious Jews have that we got to employ the modern world in order to we got to use it for godliness.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I agree with that, obviously, but I would say this one thing should stay out of the future.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
The matchmake, the finding your wife or finding your husband thing.
No, it doesn't. It
has to be as low tech as possible.
Yeah.
And this is all that's required. This mindset.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You walk around and you're like, God, please humbly send me my match person.
Exactly.
I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to find them.
Exactly.
And please just let me come across them. I don't want to do these things. Something feels off about it. Please just send me my match in the natural normal way. If everybody did that, the whole shidduch industry would just disappear instantaneously.
Of course it would.
There would be no need for it. That's what I'm saying.
The problem with the shidduch thing, they are trying to apply a system that was for a specific first of all time frame, second of all, which was 1800s, and you're talking about a situation. You have a shtetl or wherever, some town, People know each other since birth. The people that are doing the shidduch know the children, both kids, both families. That's what it was made for. Now you're trying to apply it to, like, you know, people coming from a hole in the wall. They don't know each other from a hole in the wall. The person doesn't know either person at all very well. They get a dossier, you know, like a Fusion GPS dossier on them, you know, and from that dossier that they collected, they get like a mascot on paper, like an idea of a person, not the actual person themselves, on paper, and now they're trying to set you up. And they're just literally throwing crap at a wall and seeing what sticks. And if you call them out,
that sounds like a CIA. That sounds like a CIA algorithm.
Yeah, CIA algorithm, but it doesn't work. At least CIA algorithms, even the ones that are sinister, they work. We see, but this doesn't work. None of this works. It's a broken, schwach attempt. And when you call them out on it, they get very upset. Well, we're just shliach from Hashem. Hashem just this. I'm like, you're not a shliach from Hashem. You're a shliach from Gehenna. Okay, Hashem wouldn't send something like this. Hashem is perfect, okay?
For the folks at home, Gehenna is
hell.
Purgatory.
Yeah, purgatory. So, from horrible place. And I'm like, you guys are not, no, don't justify your ineptitude and your incompetence. No, but you never know how it's going to happen, and it could just be this, and just, what is it? You know, they always say, you never know. It's like New York Lotto. I'm like, yeah, New York Lotto, you never know. Well, and you never know. I might just go outside and get hit by a car, but you never know. I might just live. 1 out of 1,000,000 times I might live. Or like my friend's father who flew out of a 5-story window and lived. 1 out of 1,000,000 chance. You never know. Throw yourself out of a fucking window.
You never know.
Debilim. What do you think? How do you talk to these people, Frank? How can I talk to them and tell them the error of their ways?
You cannot talk.
No. There's no. Some people. You ever see?
Ben can just tell them.
Do you remember? This is very vulgar. But do you ever see that South Park episode where, you know, these people feel they're so sophisticated that they fart into a glass and smell it?
They fart into the glass.
You know what I'm
talking about? Yeah.
Yes. They're so. What that means is that there are some people that are so sure about their systems, their
That's
ideas.
That's a great analogy you just used.
It's very vulgar, and I feel. But this exists. This is a mindset, and I feel like sometimes only people who are prone to that kind of character can get involved in certain professions.
Of course.
Okay.
Like so sure.
I think it's like a trap. It's like a.
Yeah.
It attracts those kind of.
You know who they are? They're like the people that go on American Idol who can't sing for their lives, but they are very, very confident. You know, it's always the people who can't sing who are confident. You know, who sound awful. It's like those people.
Yeah. So it could be. Okay. So the only advice is that people on that level, the only way to help them is to ignore.
Yeah, that's what I do. I ignore.
Right? Once that starts happening, large scale, that is the only thing.
It's like the vaccine.
That reality.
Telling you to take the vaccine. Everybody's telling you to go to shotgun. All you have to do is ignore. All you have to do is not do it. You know?
Absolutely.
You're not going to convince the people who are making it that it's bad, or whatever. The people who believe it's good that it's bad. You're just gonna ignore it. Yeah. And if enough people ignore, the whole thing falls apart.
That's it.
That's how we roll.
By default, right? It's kind of like that thing, just like shine a little light, a little tiny candle.
So Frank,
illuminates.
Frank, let me jump in here. So we got to a point where now I can actually interject and talk about.
I want to give
not about me, but about us, Frank, about us, right? So he goes.
Ben, you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself. But let's hear this.
Listen, it's quite simple. Right, we got to a point where we're saying, what do we need to do? Well, if enough people ignore this, whatever you want to call it, this hypnosis, or snap out of this hypnosis, then essentially you can escalate and raise the conscious level of the group that you're targeting. And in our target group, it's quite easy, right? It's the Jewish population. So the question would be, how do you mass influence culture? That would be the question from a point of view of turning it into an action plan, because then you accomplish everything you want.
Well, the answer to that, as far as
Wait, hold on, Frank.
as far as I know, is
there you go. You got it. You have to say as far as I know. That's fair.
I did say that, didn't
That's fair.
I? Or is that just in my head?
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt.
He jumped as high as Michael Jordan would in a dunk
contest. I just tried
Yeah.
to block you real quick. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
He just pulled a,
For the folks at home,
Giannis
everything I ever say is just what I think about it. I can't prove anything. I mean, certain things I can, but not most things. Okay.
Fair enough.
So, yeah. Like, I actually, the craziest of the thing that's most extreme of all, the divinity of the Torah, I could literally prove it, but not much else. Okay? Anyway, so to answer Ben's question, I think that what I'm trying to do is to gain a social media audience following, and then produce this kind of content, make it as popular as we possibly can, hopefully, because this is a we thing. And that's what it is, to kind of finally cut through all the horse shit, to be a truth fanatic. Maybe God will bless that. That's the primary ingredient right there.
Absolutely.
For God to get us to finally get us off the chain. Like think about an attack dog, right? That's on a chain and it wants to go and the chain is holding it back. God has to remove that chain.
Frank, you know what I just thought of? The title for this video, for this episode, will be Amalek's World. And do you know what I thought of for the thumbnail? You know how there's Elmo's World in Sesame Street?
No, but okay.
There's Elmo's World, right? And you know how they had recently they had these stupid episodes with Elmo and all of the characters taking the vaccine?
Are you kidding me?
I can find a picture. I can find a picture of Elmo and the vaccine, and Elmo is red, and red is a dome.
Yeah.
So it's Amalek's World. It's Elmo's World. Amalek's World. Amalek's World. Taking the vaccine. Something like that.
It's clever, but too subtle.
I know. But I still want to call it
Usually
Amalek's.
I'm guilty of that.
You're
the one telling me.
Amalek's World, though. So we'll think of a thumbnail for that.
You know what we should call every episode? Seriously, tits, boobs. Just like
Dude,
just like stuff that everybody.
Can I tell you something? The Yemenite guy. It's what we always like. We're like, oh, we just like when we impression of it. We goes, I want to find a blonde with boobs. I just want boobs. It's always like that.
That's every guy's inner voice right there.
I
just want to find a blonde with boobs.
We shouldn't be saying anything bad because he's just saying what even those guys at H Torah are thinking. So like, including us. So, what's the problem?
Sounds like Tyrone Bigsby. Was
right.
it not Tyrone? Who was that from Dave Chappelle? The crackhead.
Oh,
Tyrone
Biggums.
Yeah. He was,
Graxis.
not your friend. Your impression of him sounds like that.
Oh yeah. Oh. Hey Joe Rogan.
I don't know if I ever told anybody this, but I smoke rocks.
It was like Towley from.
Like, I got
no idea what's going on.
Hey kids, wanna get
You guys are Towley right now. I got no idea what's going on.
No, you're a towel.
I like how we went from talking about the truck to devolving into just making. But I guess
it's not a devolution. You can see it's clearly connected. The folks at home understand, Greg.
Yes, I know. Denise and Alex understand what we're talking about.
Yes, they do.
Dude, by the way, you know the only reason that the name Alex exists in the Jewish world is because of one man. It's because of Shimon HaTzadik. Shimon HaTzadik.
Oh, okay.
Russians have no idea that the reason they have the name Alexander, like Russian Jews, that name have Alexander, and actually even Russians, non-Jews, that name came from Jews that got into somehow the Russian world. But that name, the only reason Jews have that name is because of, it's from Alexander the Great, because
it was adopted into Jewish culture 2,400 years ago.
Yeah, there was an episode with him, like you say something like, if you save my people, if you don't torch Jerusalem or something like that, I'm gonna name every kid after you. Shimon HaTzadik.
If you don't, no, you're saying that if you don't put your idols into the temple, if you don't violate the sanctity of our holy temple, something like that.
Yeah. And that's why, so Shimon HaTzadik, which is actually the neighborhood today they call it Sheikh Jarrah, but it's Shimon HaTzadik. That's where he's buried, the whole...
Sheikh Jarrah, yeah, that was his Arabic name.
So the name Alexander comes from that person, and, we have all these Sasha and Sanya and Shurik and Sanyok and whatever, Alex this.
For the folks at home, there's a name Alex, and then there's all sorts of kind of like nicknames associated with this name. Sanya, Shurik, Sasha.
There's a few.
Alec, that's another one.
Sometimes, yeah.
That's my dad. That's my dad's case.
We have a friend, Alec, in Israel. He's actually Alexander, but he's Alec.
Yeah. For some reason, my dad, his name is Arkady, but they call him Alec. I have no idea how that...
That's interesting. I mean, Arkady usually is Abraham, no? He's Abraham.
No.
Really?
Oh, you mean like because his name's Arkady, so because someone's Hebrew name is Abraham, they're called him Arkady. Is that what you're saying?
No. Usually Arkadys are Abrahams. I have a friend Arkady, but he's Abraham.
No, my dad's Hebrew name is Aaron.
Oh, he's Aaron. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
So where do we go from here, sir? We were talking about the whole being real and this.
We gotta go full force, and we gotta really hit whatever resources that we have of influence. Get our voice out there as hard as possible, as creatively as possible.
Amen.
And that's it. And then have people hear what we have to say.
Amen.
And if God, this is what it comes down to. It's straight from the beginning of the Bible. If God accepts our offering, then it will work. If He turns away from it, then we have to somehow figure out how to improve it.
Hell yeah.
So
he accepts it, my friend. He's accepting it.
Here's my caveat. Sometimes Hashem wants you to use better, how like in the temple they had like nice vessels, beautiful vessels, or beautiful objects. So maybe if we get like some kind of a, even basic, let's say if I go down to like Miami for like a week or two and we actually film in a room, doesn't have to be even in a studio, in a room, get mics and film ourselves physically with HD cameras. Again, doesn't have to be anything Z-Dog, Shmee-Dog, any of that stuff, I think that's what Hashem wants us to do.
Dude, if Hashem wanted that, He wouldn't have given me a radio face.
Dude, you know how many people I know who have a bigger radio face than you? And by the way, Howard Stern is already on video. He films himself while he's on the radio satellite, but he films himself. And you know what? Nobody seems to care what the hell he looks like. And he looks like a...
And not only that, he made himself look much worse than he needs to.
Yeah, he looks like a dying bird.
That giant hair, that is so idiotic.
Dude, I don't know. I think, at the very least, Hashem just wants us to get a little more... Just a little bit, not too much. We don't have to be like these...
Man, I hope my mom doesn't hear that. She gets real upset. It's just like...
Upset with what?
Every mom doesn't like when someone makes fun of the way their kid looks.
Oh.
Like, don't talk about my son that way. But Ma, it's me. I don't care. You're my son. That's why nobody.
But at the same time, they'll tell us to our face, when we're like, there's a flaw. Privately they'll say like, there's a, this looks like you look like this today or something, or why did you? Почему ты это делал? Ты выглядишь как whatever.
Dude, the truth. The deepest truth of all is when your own mother tells you what you worry most about. You're like, shit.
Yeah, exactly.
I swear, I have a friend his grandma is a little bit, I'm not going to say she's not all there, but not entirely all there. Let's put it that way, right? Yeah. She has no inner monologue. Yeah. And one time, he had to drive her somewhere, and I had to come along. And I guess she didn't realize that I speak Russian. Yeah. So she's like, "Ой, почему у него такой большой нос?"
At that point, you just can't be offended at that point because it's just like.
No, I'm not. I was already used to it by that point. But I was like, man, if I heard that when I was like 12, I might have stepped into traffic. If I heard that,
dude,
I said it in Russian. Basically, my my friend's grandma, who I guess didn't realize that I speak Russian, she looked at me and then she looked at her grandson, my friend, and she said, "Oh my God, why does he have such a big nose?"
Dude, I told you in the last episode. Did I tell you this? They called me Schnoz for 2 years.
I know, dude. I know. Listen, I've
been. So we'll be on camera. We'll cancel each other out. It's like spy versus spy. The black spy and the white spy. Who cares? You know.
Why don't we call the show The Noses?
The Schnozzes, yeah.
How about this? How about this? Nose. A nose for truth.
Exactly. Yeah, like the NyQuil nose. Remember those commercials with the giant nose?
Ben, we're gonna have to get you a fake nose, Ben.
Get me a fake nose, dude.
Dude, man.
What if when we have guests, everybody has to put on those glasses with the big nose thing, or you can't be on?
I mean, that's if. What are you saying? If you're gonna start video recording your show?
Yes, Ben. Welcome.
Yeah. That would be the next stage of the show.
Ben is phasing in and out, folks.
Yeah. Okay, I didn't know you guys have a video recording. I thought that was just radio.
Yeah. No, we do have. We don't have video. I mean, we have Zoom.
No. Basically, Greg wants it to be. Greg, for some reason, thinks that showing people my face is gonna get us ratings. To me, that seems counterintuitive.
I think at showing two people talking face to face in the same like literally vicinity, same room, is a more effective podcast.
In the same room.
Yeah, with mics than.
Oh, Greg and I are about to set that up. Like in room.
What if we hire a spokesperson, and just superimpose my voice, like we get like a hot chick.
Oh, you want somebody to deep fake you? We'll deep fake.
Yeah, deep fake. Yeah, right. I'll be like
deep Frank.
Alicia Cuthbert or something.
We're gonna call this Deep Frank.
Something random like that.
Alicia.
Is that a person? That's a person. I saw that name somewhere.
Yes.
In print. That's a person, right?
Yes. It's like a Gen Z, not Gen Z, but like she is, she's one of the idols of the Gen Z people, I guess. I don't know.
Is she pretty? Like, I just saw that name like scrolling just now.
I think she's actually like our age or something. No, I don't know. Yeah, she's like somebody who's considered, I guess, attractive. I don't know.
If she's pretty, then she's our deep fake
Alicia Cuthbert. Yeah, she's 39. Oh, she's our age. She's 39 years old. Yeah, I guess she's alright. Yeah, kind of very like typical non-Jewish girl. She's married to a hockey player, NHL guy.
Let me tell you something. There's no such thing as a typical girl. Doesn't matter.
No, she's like a one of these like. She's the girl that my friend, that guy, the Yemenite guy, wants to be with. The type of girl. It's like typical American blonde.
Like attractive, pretty, blonde, probably, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a blonde with boobs.
Blonde boobs, perfect.
Anyway, I shouldn't do that.
To some extent, even though that's like, having a spokesperson is not, on one level it's not honest, but on the other level, it's the deepest honesty possible. You know why? Because they're saying, folks, let's be truth.
Let's cut the crap.
Get this. Let's cut through the crap. This is what you want to see.
Yeah. And
it's easier for you to listen to it when you see that.
Exactly.
All right.
It's like Fox News.
Accepting a basic truth.
It's like Fox News. Yeah. My dad is like, that show Outnumbered on Fox News. It's like one guy and like four like attractive news ladies. And so my dad is watching that. It's in the morning. It's like at 10 o'clock in the morning. So he's like, Grisha, look at the show, Outnumbered. Why do you think they call it Outnumbered?
Guys.
He's like, do you want to be outnumbered like this?
Guys, I gotta go.
You have to go? Okay, fine.
It's something suddenly came up. It's a good thing.
It's all good.
My wife became a doctor.
Oh, Mazel Tov. Wow.
So I have to go.
Wow.
And we're gonna take her out.
Oh, cool. Mazel Tov, man. Very nice.
Now I finally got the sugar mama I always wanted, and she can support my dreams now.
Frank has money. No.
I worked hard for this, folks.
Now you can get a mic.
Years on construction sites. Now I need a sugar mama. I can't wait to be Stedman to my wife.
Stedman. Stedman is Oprah's husband.
Stedman wrote a book
about what?
Success.
About success.
Success rule number 1.
Marry
Oprah.
It sounds like Norm Macdonald.
That's Norm Macdonald. That is literally Norm Macdonald. It is.
Rule number 2:
right.
Be a light-skinned black guy and marry Oprah.
Right. Yo, black women love them light skins. I gotta tell you.
Oh my God. Well, anyway, sir, it's been real. This is one of our shorter episodes. Not even 2 hours. An hour, 45 minutes.
What? No, well, I mean, I guess it is a pre-Sabbath episode.
Yeah, pre-Shabbat. That's fine. We got a lot in.
But you and Ben can continue. That is an option.
We can.
All right?
We can.
That's always an option. And it's hard to break away. I love this.
Okay. Well,
I love talking to you fellas. Yo, we gotta get Paul. We gotta get
Carpenter.
Paul.
Oh, he told me didn't you see him or something like that? The other day?
I haven't had a chance yet because my uncle passed away.
Dude, you know what we should do?
And then my family came here.
Dude, you know what we should do? I should come visit you guys. Actually, maybe even, because here's the thing, there really is no. I mean, aside from your parents, there's no reason why you shouldn't be living in Florida. The wine that I'm trying to sell is coming in next week, but I'm not able to even, technically I can do sales even from Miami. I can just do my thing. Maybe I should come before Pesach for a week or even 2 weeks.
You should move to Florida so that your parents will follow you.
Yeah, right. Could do
that's
that.
That's literally. You're laughing, but that's my plan. That's what I'm trying to do for my parents.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I hear. Wait, your parents live where? Oh, they live in upstate.
Yeah. But
why don't they move? What's stopping them from moving?
Oh man, that's a whole episode in itself.
Like a Russian stuckness? Is that what it is?
It's a Russian stuckness.
Russian stuckness. There's a phenomenon called Russian stuckness. When Russian people get stuck, they get stuck. They get stuck on Putin. They get stuck on where they live. They get stuck on
RSS.
Yeah, RSS. It's an RSS feed. Russian stuckness feed. All right,
all right, man. I'm gonna go meet Janet and Chrissy.
Yeah,
take my wife down to the
Mr.
Regal
Philly
Beagle.
not to ogle at Suzanne Summers too much.
Why would I take his reason for being away? Why? You know what I mean? That's a good reason for being.
That's true.
No, you know what? Let's end off on that.
Yeah.
What is he doing when he looks at Suzanne, at Chrissy?
What is he?
And
he's just doing what every man wants to do, but what society told him he can't.
What is that? He is mesmerized by the Shaheena. By the reflection of some expression of the Shaheena. That's what's going on.
He's a holy man, and he's just actualizing his holiness. I guess you could say.
In some ways, maybe that's not the craziest statement ever.
It's not. It's not. In any event, what was I going to say?
Ben.
No.
Yes.
Ben.
Yes, sir.
You're welcome. You're welcome on this show anytime.
I appreciate that very much, Frank.
No invitation required.
That's awesome. Thank you, sir.
What's on the docket this week for Ben? Ben is doing crazy things. People don't realize it.
I'm actually...
The world should know. The world should know this.
Unless Ben doesn't want to tell the world.
Well,
it's fine.
We're just, as a group effort, we're moving the world forward. That's pretty much what we're doing.
Sounds good.
Yeah, that's it. We're moving it forward. Tax season's upon us, guys. April 15th.
Oh yeah, that's right. Tax season.
This week I got to focus on taxes for my business, and for my sister, and for my.
When somebody brings up taxes,
I get nervous.
Greg, I feel just like you're
Greg's getting
just
itchy,
like that
dude.
guy.
Greg,
just like that guy who just wants to be a man in a beautiful farm.
Yeah. Wait, man, what?
The Israeli singer that you sent me today. You sent me a clip of an Israeli singer complaining about paying taxes and tickets.
Yeah, because he evaded. Zohar. This is the most famous singer in Israel that was. He is the person who brought Mizrahi music to the mainstream. Zohar.
I'm gonna have to contend with that because the only Israeli singer that I was ever aware of before even knowing anything about Torah or Israel was Ofra Haza, and I
So-
think that's probably the case for everybody.
Ofra Haza, she's an Israeli singer who became famous in the mainstream of the world, but the person who brought Mizrahi Dafka music, like Sephardic music or Sephardic rock music to Israel and made it popular with Israelis is Zohar Argov. The only reason you hear that kind of music, what? Yeah. The only reason you kind of hear that kind of music anywhere in Israel, all over the place, like in every shawarma shop, is because of this guy. Ofra Haza brought Israeli music or just world music from Israel to the mainstream. That's a different. And she won a Grammy for that, actually.
Terrible story, though.
Yeah.
Foxy, beautiful lady.
She got
beautiful
AIDS
voice.
from her husband, who was a whatever.
Wow.
It's crazy. It's a crazy story. Yeah, beautiful woman, beautiful voice. Also Yemenite.
Production video
awesome.
on that Nina Lou song, that video, the production was like incredible. It was it must have been like Nile Rodgers or something like that.
There's something special about Yemenites. Anyway.
I apologize.
All right, sir.
But people should definitely look up Nina Lou.
Mm-hmm.
She made a religious Jewish Yemenite song world famous. So that's something.
We'll check it out.
Yep.
All right, sir. Shabbat Shalom, and
every time you say Shabbat Shalom, and I have to hold myself back so much from doing that Hebrew hammer. Shabbat Shalom, motherfucker. You know what I'm talking about?
Shabbat.
I have
I
this
should be like
horrible urge to do that, and it's hard to control it.
I should be like these Bel Tshuva guys. The Karlbach. Good Shabbos, good Shabbos. And
God.
sing the good Shabbos, good Shabbos. And you feel like you want to he's forcing you to be happy. And like if you walk into like one of these Shabbat, whatever, minions or meals, and you're like feeling like crap and you're just had a hard day, and the guy's like, good Shabbos, good Shabbos. I want to punch that guy. He's a nice guy, but he's a really nice guy, the Karlbach guy, but I just want to punch him. Sometimes, I can't.
Just one day, be like, is it though? Is it?
What the hell?
All right, guys.
All right, dude. Ben is showing me a move by some basketball player, and it's called the Shabbat Shalom move. Why is it called the Shabbat Shalom move? Hold on. This is the Shabbat Shalom. That's so funny. Anyway, that's really cool. It's so weird.
Shabbat Shalom.
It's like, ooh. All right.
Remember, put something. Like you always say, you're gonna put something in the key. In the description. You never do it. So
I will.
put like boobs, butts.
Okay.
Trump. Just
Yes.
stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
All right.
It's Amalek's world. All right. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right. I'll talk to you later.
All right, man.